What would you do if you were me?
I don't know, but maybe we could run a simulation and gauge my rage level.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most relatable never have I ever moments.
Dr. Ryan, you know how much trouble I have taking the high road.
I do. Why don't you sit down?
For this list, we'll be looking at the moments in Never Have I Ever that really hit home, for better or for worse. Did Never Have I Ever give you a moment that made you feel seen? A little too seen, maybe? Tell us about it in the comments. Number 10, the urge to reinvent. The start of the school year used to feel kind of magical. After a long summer break, anything seemed possible. Davy's feeling this energy in a big way at the very start of the series.
I think we can all agree that last year sucked for a number of reasons. So I thought of a few ways you guys can make it up to me.
As she starts her sophomore year of high school, she's ready for big changes. She comes in armed with a plan and ready to introduce the world to a brand new version of herself.
AKA, she would be serving a damn Luke.
Not everyone wants to be popular, but the need for reinvention is one that plenty of people still feel well into adulthood. When you come down to it, we all just want to feel like we're living the most exciting version of our lives possible.
This year, we're rebranding. We are glamorous women of color who deserve a sexy high school life.
Number 9, the college admissions rat race. Anyone who has applied to college recently will tell you the process has become so competitive that it's practically an Olympic sport in and of itself.
You can't win them all.
Well, I guess I can't relate because I do win them all. I'm in all AP classes and got a perfect score on my PSAT.
Great segue, Davy. Effortless.
All while volunteering at the Kidney Dialysis Center.
But seriously, do you play a sport of the Olympic level? Because that's great for your transcript. Davy and Ben are laser focused on getting accepted to elite universities and push themselves hard to build up their grades, test scores, and extracurricular credentials. Ben even lands in the hospital from stress. But even the chilled out Paxton finds himself stressing about his academic future.
But my grades are good now.
You know, colleges are looking for well-rounded students. Grades aside, with you not swimming anymore, you don't have any extracurriculars.
Ivy League or state school, coasting isn't enough to get anyone an admission letter. Watching these characters really sweat for their college dreams adds a layer of realism to the series.
This is the second semester of junior year. I can't slow down now. It's almost D-Day, baby.
Number 8, cringy parents. It took a lot of courage for Fabiola Torres to come out to her friends and family. But when she did, she found nothing but love and acceptance. Fabiola's mom especially wants to go above and beyond to be supportive.
Yeah, too supportive. She's trying so hard to be an ally, but she keeps saying the wrong thing.
Navigating queer identity may not be a universal experience, but mortifying parents? Who can't relate to that? In an effort to stave off the inevitable, Fabiola spends most of the charity relay trying to keep her girlfriend Eve away from her mother.
Are you embarrassed of me?
No, of course not. I'm embarrassed of her. I know she's gonna say something weird to you. Like, she's definitely gonna tell you how much she liked the movie Carol.
Great. I hope she does. It's my favorite Christmas movie. Now suck it up and introduce us.
Eve's got the right idea, of course. She'll have to meet the parents eventually, so it's better to just make it happen. And of course, it's not as bad as Fab feared.
Is it too early to say, "Yas, queens"?
Mom.
Okay, still a little cringe, but it could have been way worse. Number 7, love life is life. High school is a busy time for any teenager, but for many, there's one thing that occupies more of their mental and emotional energy than anything.
A major event that could happen this week. Popping my cherry, Doc.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, maybe not that specifically, but for a lot of us, there was a period when nothing mattered as much as our love lives. Davy's an extreme example of this. When it comes to either of her two main love interests, Paxton and Ben, she has a tendency to put her romantic desires above anything else. Unfortunately, this has included even her closest friendships, with predictably disastrous effects.
I can't believe you ditched us for him.
I know, and I'm really sorry. But Paxton had an emergency too.
Was it worse than having your mom abandon you?
For a while, Davy has a bad habit of framing everything in terms of her love life. But eventually, she does learn that romance isn't some magical key to a perfect life.
Oh, wait a minute. Did we discover
that being in a romantic relationship doesn't necessarily solve all of our problems?
Number 6, the perfect rival. We've all heard advice about not comparing ourselves to other people, but it can be hard to avoid, especially when they seem to be everything we're not.
Devi, don't be rude to your beautiful cousin.
I'm not that beautiful.
Sorry, are you a model?
Davy lives with Kamala, which she finds difficult enough, but she's not ready when Anissa transfers to Sherman Oaks. Anissa is another Indian American sophomore, but as far as Davy's concerned, that's where the comparison stops.
She had always assumed her unpopularity was because of racism.
Pretty and fun and effortlessly cool, Anissa brings out all of Davy's biggest insecurities. But she also takes us back to our own moments of self-doubt. There's always that one person who seems to highlight everything we feel we lack. But just like the rest of us, Davy eventually learns that everyone is struggling with something.
I wanted to start fresh here and everything was going so well. I don't know how they found out.
Number 5, making the first move. Breakups are tough, especially if you have to keep seeing your ex on the regular, but it's bound to get awkward when your former flame moves on to someone new.
I'm really sorry if this Phoebe thing hurts you.
Hurts me? No, I'm fine, brosif. I'm also talking to people. Loads of guys, so.
There's a lot of pressure to seem cool and unbothered in these situations. There's nothing worse than looking like you're not over your ex when they're clearly over you. Heck, even if you are over the breakup, something about seeing them in a new relationship always feels like salt in the wound.
I thought I was ready to see him with someone new. I had been practicing with stuffed animals for my room. Guess it didn't help.
Watching Davy navigate this emotional minefield reminds us of our own breakups past. Though she got the satisfaction we only dreamed of when Des stepped in to help her save face.
Yes, Davy. Paxton's looking right at you, and he seems jealous. It's working. Davy, why aren't you looking?
Number 4, sexist STEM. Kamala is psyched to start her new PhD lab rotation with scientific rock star Dr. Peters. That is, until she actually meets her coworkers.
Kamala, can you hang back a second? Would you mind washing out those beakers over there? They look a little,
Sure.
Cool, thanks for being such a team player.
From trivializing her input to forcing her to work overtime while the group socializes, Kamala's lab mates are kind of the worst. And it's a familiar scenario to a lot of women.
Welcome to the workforce. There's always going to be men who take credit for your work and undermine you and choose the exact moment when you're making a really meaningful point to completely interrupt.
Davey, let me in.
On and off the clock, Kamala bends over backwards to prove herself, even making a key research discovery. But when her supervisor, Evan, leaves her name off the corresponding paper, it's clear that nothing will ever make them see her as an equal. Dr. Peters refuses to intervene, and even her boyfriend, Prashant, isn't very supportive. So many of us have these experiences, but at least we get vicarious satisfaction when Kamala finally snaps.
I will file a complaint with the administration. I will mobilize the Association of Women in Science.
Number 3, love crumbs. There's a reason love gets compared to intoxication so often. Because for one thing, it severely impairs your judgment. And the crazier the crush, the crazier the mental gymnastics you will put yourself through.
Let's see what you got, Lil D.
Holy shit, did Paxton NHIE just give her a nickname? You don't do that unless you plan on referring to that person a ton in the future.
Davy's been head over heels for Paxton for years, so when he starts paying her a little bit of attention, she gloms onto any tiny indication that he might possibly reciprocate her feelings. The bar is on the floor, frankly, and any decent thing Paxton does is enough to give Davy hope.
You look cool in that outfit.
Did he just say she looked good? Holy shit, maybe she wasn't as friend zone as she thought.
Similarly, when Eleanor falls for former child star Malcolm Stone, she can't see his many red flags through her rose-colored perception of him. But we can't really judge because we've all been there.
You don't know him like I do. That's just the way we are with each other. I promise it's fine.
That's literally verbatim what the girl said in the health class video.
Number 2, the right way to be.
I just thought it would be easier after coming out. But even with the queer girls, I feel like I'm constantly trying to fit in.
Identity can be tricky, and Never Have I Ever reflects this in numerous characters. Davy spends the series trying to reconcile her real self with the kind of person she wishes she were, and we see Kamala torn between the traditional expectations of her family and her own vision for her life. Fabiola, on the other hand, is someone who started off pretty comfortable with herself. However, once she starts dating Eve, she begins worrying that she isn't the right kind of queer girl.
Sasha got us tickets to King Princess next month. You'll come, right?
Sure. Is that a play?
Are you for real? You've never heard of King Princess? She's a singer?
And the most unproblematic lesbian.
Right.
We see her abandon her identity in an effort to be cool enough for Eve and her friends, only to end up miserable. But eventually she learns what we all need to remember, that the only way to be is to be yourself.
We love who you are.
Exactly. So sister, be who you are.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Yup, just said that. We never cease to be amazed at how quickly we lose any shred of cool when a crush is involved.
We'll compare calendars tomorrow or something. We'll figure it out. Later, skater.
What?
There's definitely a type. Anyone who has been a drama club girl will feel a little called out here.
All I have to do to attract them is just pull up my hoodie and look a little tortured.
Okay, hey, give my gender a little credit.
Ben, right? You seem like you're really going through something. If you want to talk, my friends and I are just over there practicing our British accents.
A grounded perspective, when your life is such a mess that your only hope is parentally enforced social exile.
Did you have a friend over? I thought we said no friends.
What if I said I had multiple friends over? Would you consider punishing me by sending me off to a boarding school?
Winter formal. We build up a lot of expectations for the big dance, but the real thing rarely lives up to the hype.
Remember when we were gonna come tonight in a sleek limo with sexy boyfriends? But then, here we are. Single at our first high school dance, and we arrived in your stepmom's hatchback.
There's always a Trent. So dumb, they're deep or just deeply dumb. We're never entirely sure, but everyone knows and loves a version of Trent.
How are you in AP Physics?
I just signed up. I figured if I'm gonna get a D anyway, why not get a D in an AP class? Because it basically counts as a C.
That's actually not that bad of a plan.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Processing grief.
I let myself get so caught up having fun with Des, I forgot to be the sad girl who lost her dad. And I didn't even notice his stuff got tossed onto an old junk box.
Mohan Vishwakumar passes away prior to the main events of Never Have I Ever, but his presence looms large over the series. Not only is he regularly seen in flashbacks, but the entire story is about Davy's journey to come to terms with his sudden death.
I feel like Dad's disappearing from our lives. I had all of his voicemails on my phone, but they're gone.
Just like in real life, this undertaking is messy, complicated, and sometimes non-linear. While all 5 stages of grief are represented, they're never so cut and dry. Davy frequently experiences several at once. And while she makes huge progress from season to season, we also see how events in her life can knock her back. It's a realistic portrayal of the long process of grieving, where there are no easy answers or tidy endings.
I love you too, Mom. I love you.
How about we celebrate your father?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.